All right, thank you for
They want
joining.
others to
Thank
believe
you
they
for.
are.
Oops, thank you for joining. She's dropping a T-shirt the front door tarot.
Ohio drivers,
I had to
do not
start
pay
the
your auto
video
insurance bill
over.
until you hear this.
Hold on.
The truth is, they're legally robbing you every time.
I had to start the video over because court came out. But this video is about people so scared about being exposed because you basically put them on the front and the truth came out. You know, they sit around here plotting all these different ideas and it always flop because kids can do better than that. Like, this is why people don't worry about y'all, because they already know your outcome before it even happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's never nothing to panic about when you know you're dealing with the Three Stooges. It's like that type of energy going on. So I'm going to put the video on so y'all can hear it. All right? And it's basically about them being exposed, them being scared as fuck. And it's because you the truth. When you come in the room, everything is exposed. So here it is.
They want others to believe they are. They've wrapped that image in charm.
All right, let me start it over. It was on 2 minutes when it cut off. It's about these motherfuckers trying to wrap whatever image in charm and thought that this shit was going to keep flying in a room full of people, you know. They thought they was going to keep, you know, putting on the facades and, you know, keep getting attention the wrong way on somebody else's back. And no, that ain't the case. Instead, they got their shit flipped on them, turned on them, and it is what it is. There's a lot of black magic backfiring on people. Okay? A lot of it is backfiring on people. Celebrities, too. All kind of shit in the love and hip-hop community is going on, and it got to do with the big M, because people think that they can unalive people and then think they can come up with these weird-ass stories of why that happened, thinking that they're going to get themselves cleared, and it ain't the case. Now, there's two situations that have backfired on that cast, where someone has lost their life and they thought that they was going to walk away from that shit, and no, they being charged. You got a whole man, kids burning in a fire. I don't think that shit is no coincidence. We know what the fuck the murder by 3 is. We know what the murder by 3 is. Okay, maybe he don't got nothing to do with it, but somebody around him got something to do with them babies being deceased. For sure, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. I know that for a fact. And then the next thing is, you know, y'all may be hearing things in the news feeds about Rashida and Kurt. Same shit, backfiring shit, and it's blowing up all in everybody's face. Y'all do the math, y'all read in between the lines, but this many M's all on one cast, all around each other, affiliated with each other, is not no coincidence, and I don't give a fuck what nobody say. It's not no paranoia, and it ain't no coincidence. Y'all better peep game how all this shit is backfiring on motherfuckers. You cannot sacrifice other people to get some limelight or get some step up. It don't work like that. That's not a part of your contract. You can't involve other people in some double-ass contract you signing. Okay? If you want to be with a label, be with be with a TV casting, whatever the fuck this shit is. You know, producers, all that. That shit, hey, you better read the fine line, is what I'm going to tell you. You better read in between the fine line and find out what devil you signing contracts with, because somebody's involving your family in some fuck shit, and it got to do with black magic backfiring on people. Somebody sending some horrible energies into other people's energies for all kind of tragedies and bad shit to happen around them and to them, you know, within their circles. So, I don't know. Y'all figure it out, but High Priestess know exactly what's going on. Okay? Alright, it's not no coincidence that people are losing their lives affiliated around people that's in the limelight. Like, we just went through this with Puffy, and y'all still think y'all can do this shit. Still think y'all can make shit happen to people and then pretend like it was an accident. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Welcome, the Anointed Ones. Truth doesn't need a weapon. It is the weapon.
Sacrificing kids.
Here's something fascinating. According to social psychology, when someone's actions don't align with the image they want others to believe, they experience a mental tension called cognitive dissonance. In plain language, that tight, uncomfortable feeling when your truth walks into the room and their mask starts sweating. That's you. You are walking, breathing evidence that reality still exists in a world built on performance. And the scary part for them, you're not even trying to expose them. You're just living in a way that makes their carefully constructed falsehoods shrivel like spinach in a hot pan. The moment you show up, the air shifts. Jokes stop being funny, lies stop being smooth, and suddenly someone's avoiding eye contact like they just remembered they left the stove on in 2009. Your honesty is like flipping on a bright light in a room full of cockroaches. And trust me, none of them are doing the cha-cha to get closer to you. People think exposure is about secrets coming out. No. Exposure is when truth refuses to leave, no matter how many layers of excuses they try to pile over it. And that's why they can't stand you. Your existence forces them to meet the one person they've been avoiding for years.
Sorry,
themselves.
you can't stand the truth.
Number one, you carry the mirror. They avoid looking into. You carry a mirror that most people don't want to look into, and the reflection has nothing to do with physical appearance. It's about the unfiltered truth of who they are when the act drops. You don't have to lecture them, you don't have to tell them they're wrong, you don't even have to mention their flaws. They feel it. Your presence becomes a silent confrontation. It's not that you're walking around trying to catch people out. It's that you live in a way that makes lies uncomfortable and half-truths too heavy to hold. For years, some people have perfected the art of avoiding themselves. They've built an image, a version of who they want others to believe they are. They've wrapped that image in charm, good manners, selective memory, and carefully crafted stories. Around most people, they can keep it up without a problem. But when they meet you, something strange happens. The mask they've worn for so long starts to feel like it doesn't fit anymore, because you're not interacting with the mask. You're connecting with the person underneath it, and that person knows you can see them. It's uncomfortable because it's rare. Most of the world will play along with whatever role someone is performing. People will smile, nod, and help others maintain the illusion. But you have no interest in playing that game. You don't give false affirmations to keep the peace, and you don't pretend not to notice when someone's words and actions don't match. You treat the truth like oxygen, necessary, non-negotiable, and not up for debate. That's why they feel exposed. They might not even be able to explain it. All they know is that being around you makes them self-conscious in a way they aren't with anyone else. They suddenly hear themselves more clearly. They notice the contradictions in their own stories, and they feel the weight of the things they've been ignoring. It's not because you're judging them, but because you live without needing to hide anything yourself, and that's the part that stings. Deep down, they know the mirror you hold isn't distorted. What they see in it is real, and it's the version of themselves they've worked hardest to avoid. You didn't expose them with accusations. You exposed them with truth simply by being who you are. Number two, your existence destroys the excuses they've built their lives on. Some people have built their entire life around excuses. They've convinced themselves that certain dreams are impossible, that certain goals are unrealistic, and that living with compromise is just how the real world works. They'll say things like, "That's just the way it is," not because it's true, but because it's easier than admitting they chose comfort over courage. It's how they justify staying in the same place, avoiding risks, and never holding themselves to a higher standard. Then you came along and, without trying, tore that entire belief system apart. You didn't do it by arguing with them or preaching to them. You did it by being proof that what they said couldn't be done was possible after all. You became living evidence that success can be built without selling your soul, that you can stand by your values and still move forward, that you can rise without stepping on others to get there. Your very existence interrupts their narrative and forces them to reevaluate everything they've been telling themselves to feel better about not trying harder. That's the kind of confrontation most people don't want. It's not loud or aggressive, but it's devastating to the ego. Because if what you've accomplished is real, and clearly it is, then their excuses fall apart. They can no longer hide behind the claim that the game is rigged against everyone because you played and still won. They can't say no one can succeed without compromise when you've done exactly that. The moment you walk in, the room feels different for them because their favorite hiding place, the excuse, just got demolished. It's not that they secretly hate you for it. It's more complicated than that. Part of them may admire you, maybe even wish they could do what you've done. But admiration is hard to admit when it's mixed with the bitter taste of being proven wrong. So instead of being inspired, they can grow defensive. They'll pick apart your methods, try to downplay your results, or call you lucky just to protect the fragile comfort of their old beliefs. And that's why they feel exposed around you. You didn't just challenge their excuses, you made it impossible for those excuses to exist. You became undeniable proof that the problem was never the system, the timing, or the opportunity. The problem was that they never wanted it bad enough to pay the real price for it. Number 3, you refuse to participate in their collective lie. A lot of environments run on silent agreements, unspoken deals that everyone is expected to honor. These are not written contracts, but they're powerful. They say things like, we don't talk about certain truths here, or we all pretend this behavior is normal, or we protect certain people no matter what they do. It's how families keep generational secrets, how workplaces protect toxic leaders, and how social circles maintain a fake image. Everyone knows the truth on some level, but the unspoken rule is that you play along or you get pushed out. You are the person who refuses to play along. You don't sign the invisible contract. You're not rude, reckless, or looking for conflict, but you also won't swallow a lie just to make others comfortable. And that's where the tension starts, because when you won't participate in the collective lie, you break the illusion for everyone. You become the one person who makes the truth impossible to bury completely. This isn't about gossip or stirring trouble. It's about living in a way that is consistent everywhere, whether someone's watching or not. When you show up, you make it clear that you're not available for fake peace or false unity. And while some people respect that, others see it as a direct threat. In their eyes, you're not just being honest. You're threatening the very structure they've depended on to survive. That's why they often try to isolate you or label you as difficult. If they can convince others that you're the problem, then no one has to address the real issue. But deep down they know it's not you they're afraid of. It's what you represent. You are proof that it's possible to live without bending to the collective lie. You make it obvious that silence and compliance are choices, not necessities. For people who have spent years protecting the system, your refusal to participate feels like betrayal. It shines a light on their own compromise. It makes their loyalty to the lie look less like wisdom and more like fear. And that's the heart of why they feel exposed. You didn't call them out by name. You didn't reveal their secrets. You simply refused to join in. And that was enough to make the truth louder than it has ever been in that space. Number 4, your standards. Feel like an attack to the unprincipled. When you live by a higher standard, you don't need to point fingers or make speeches. Your life itself does the talking. For people who have learned to cut corners, bend the truth, or settle for less than what's right, being around you is uncomfortable. You're not trying to shame them, but the gap between what you accept for yourself and what they've accepted for themselves is hard for them to ignore. It's like your standards hold up a measuring stick they never agreed to be measured against, and yet they can't unsee it once it's there. The
That's
tension
not my
comes
fault
from
if
the fact
motherfuckers
that they
don't have
know
no
deep
standards.
down they could have
Okay,
done
when it
better.
comes to their
They could have
spirituality
been
and
more
all this,
honest, more
or what they
disciplined,
would
more
do, or how
consistent,
far they would go
but they didn't want to
to
pay
get
the
material
price that
shit,
comes
money,
with
and
it.
all that. That's not
Maybe
my
they
fault.
told themselves that integrity doesn't really matter, that everyone compromises, that good enough is fine. Those beliefs help them sleep at night. But then you show up, quietly proving all of that wrong just by the way you live, and it pokes a hole in the comfort they've been enjoying. It's not that they wish you were corrupt.
It pokes a hole in the
It's that they
lie
wish you
that they've
were
been
like
telling
them.
themselves.
Because if you were, they wouldn't have to
Fuck that
face
is.
the uncomfortable truth that they could have chosen differently all along. Instead, you're proof that it's possible to live in a way that doesn't require selling out, and that's a truth they'd rather not acknowledge. So they translate their discomfort into hostility. They'll say you're too rigid or too much, or that you think you're
fuck
better than
you.
everyone.
Fuck
These
you.
labels aren't really about you. They're shields to protect themselves
I'm
from
too
having
much
to change.
and you too less.
Your refusal
That's
to
the
lower your
problem.
standards isn't about judging others.
That's
It's
the
about
problem.
protecting
I'm
the
too
life
much
you've
and you
committed
too
to
less.
living. But to the unprincipled, it feels like an attack because it forces them to see that their choices were exactly that. Choices. They weren't forced into mediocrity or compromise. They chose it. And now, standing next to someone who didn't, they have to live with that awareness. That's why your standards make them feel exposed. You're not asking them to meet you at your level. You're simply refusing to drop down to theirs. And that decision alone is enough to make them feel like you've put them on trial without saying a single word. Number 5. You see patterns they thought were invisible. Some people are skilled at hiding their intentions. They move in subtle ways, planting seeds, bending narratives, and positioning themselves so they always appear in the best light. They count on others being distracted, too trusting, or too naive to notice the trail they're leaving behind. This is why they thrive. Most people only see the surface, the polished version of events, and never connect the smaller details that reveal the bigger truth. You're different. You don't just see what's in front of you. You notice the rhythm behind it. You catch patterns in behavior, tone, timing, and choices that most people overlook. A casual comment to someone else might mean nothing, but you remember when it contradicts something they said last month. A sudden burst of generosity might look kind on the surface, but you can tell it's just a strategic move to buy influence. They can't hide their game from you because you read between the lines naturally without even trying.
If you want to drop your auto insurance rate, then don't skip this video.
Commercial. Hold on,
Take a
y'all.
look. I've removed my
Let me clear it
personal
off.
info, guys. From 100.
This ability makes people uneasy, especially those who rely on deception to maintain control. They're used to pulling the strings while everyone else dances without realizing it. But with you, the dance feels different because you've already spotted the puppet master in the corner. Even when you don't call them out, they can feel that you've clocked their methods. You're not fooled by surface charm or convenient timing. You've already mapped the path they're taking, sometimes before they've even finished laying it out. The real problem for them isn't just that you can see the pattern, it's that you can remember it. You connect events over months or years, building a full picture of what's really going on. That makes their usual tricks useless. They can't rely on you to forget, and they can't get comfortable thinking you'll only notice the obvious. And so they feel exposed in your presence. They know that the game they've been playing in the shadows is fully visible to you, even when they act as if nothing's wrong. They can't relax because they understand that nothing they do slips past you unnoticed. You've dismantled the invisibility they once depended on, and without it, they're left vulnerable. Not because you've confronted them, but because you've already seen everything they were hoping no one would see. Number 6, you don't confuse niceness with goodness. There's a huge difference between being nice and being good, but in today's world, those two get confused all the time. Niceness is about presentation, the tone of your voice, the smile on your face, the polite phrases you use to keep everyone comfortable. Goodness is about substance, the decisions you make, the way you treat people when no one's watching, the integrity you uphold even when it costs you
That would
something.
be me.
The problem is a
That
lot
would
of
be
people
me.
have mastered niceness as a disguise for a lack of goodness.
Yeah.
They know how to be
yeah.
agreeable and charming while
Yeah.
doing things that are selfish, harmful,
Yes.
or downright corrupt
Yes.
behind the
Right
scenes.
in your face.
You don't
Right in your
fall for
face.
that
That's
act.
what they do.
You don't confuse a friendly tone with a trustworthy heart. You look past how someone appears and watch what they actually do. You've seen enough to know that the person who greets everyone with kindness isn't automatically a good person.
Come on.
Sometimes they're just skilled at keeping their darker motives hidden.
Come on.
And because you operate from truth, not appearances, you can sense when someone's niceness is just a cover.
Come on.
This ability unsettles people who depend on their charm to get away with things.
Show you
They're used to
right.
being liked, being trusted, and having doors open for them simply because they know how to play the part. But with you, the mask slips almost instantly. You don't give extra credit for politeness when the actions underneath tell a different story.
You better say
that makes
it.
them uncomfortable because it means their usual tactics, the ones that work on everyone else, don't work on you. To you, goodness is proven in how someone handles responsibility, how they treat the vulnerable, how they behave.
How
when
they
no
treat
one
the
is watching.
vulnerable.
Sweet words don't impress you if they're followed by selfish choices. A pleasant attitude doesn't erase dishonest actions.
Come on.
That's why people feel exposed around you. You're not distracted by the packaging. You're focused on the contents. And here's the truth they can't escape. Niceness can be rehearsed, but
Sure
goodness
can.
can't be faked for long. You're not fooled by surface-level charm because you've learned to measure people by their consistency, their actions, and their truth. That's why those who hide behind politeness get nervous around you. You see the reality.
That's why the minute you say no, you see that true motherfucking side.
You remember what they pray others forget.
What the fuck you see?
Some people count on time to erase their wrongs. They live as if the past can be conveniently edited, with their mistakes and betrayals fading into the background until no one talks about them anymore. They rewrite history in a way that makes them look better, downplaying the harm they caused, twisting events so they appear like the victim, or completely omitting the parts that would make them look guilty. For many, this works, because most people either forget, move on, or choose not to dig too deeply. But you're different. You remember. You don't carry grudges. But you also don't erase facts just because time has passed. And it's not just that you recall what happened. You remember the sequence, the details, and the intentions behind it. You store these things quietly, without needing to bring them up at every turn, but they're there. That alone makes people uneasy, because they can't depend on your memory to fade the way others do. What unsettles them even more is that you connect the dots. You're able to see how past behavior lines up with present patterns, revealing that what happened before wasn't an isolated incident. It was part of who they are. While others are willing to give them a clean slate over and over,
Sure, I'm
you
not.
notice that their mistakes
Shit.
aren't accidents at all, but deliberate choices repeated in different ways. This makes you a threat to those who survive on selective memory. They can't control the narrative around you the way they do with others. If they try to spin a story, you already have the context that exposes the spin. If they attempt to play innocent, you can recall the exact moments that contradict their claim. They don't even have to hear you say anything. Just knowing you know is enough to make them uneasy. It's not about keeping score. It's about refusing to live in denial. You don't distort the truth to make people more comfortable. And you won't pretend something never happened just because they've decided it's more convenient that way. That's
So
why
don't
they
come
feel
in my
exposed
energy
in
with
your
that
presence.
bullshit,
You don't just
trying to
remember the
play
parts
like
you'd rather
some
erase.
shit didn't happen
You
when the
remember how
fuck it
all the
did.
pieces fit together, and that kind of clarity.
Because you
can't
gonna
be
get checked
manipulated.
and get
Number
exit
8,
out.
you thrive without joining their circle of compromise. Some people are convinced that the only way to get ahead is to play dirty. They believe that every person who reaches the top must have lied, cheated, stepped on others, or made shady deals.
Because they ass is
It's
trifling.
their favorite excuse for why they haven't achieved more. If success requires compromise, then staying small becomes proof of their integrity. It's a comfortable story to tell themselves because it lets them feel morally superior while avoiding the hard
You a
work and
piece of
discipline
shit.
that real success
You a
demands.
piece of shit. I'll
Then
tell
come
you to
along
your
and
face.
ruin the script.
You a
You're
piece
not
of
just
shit.
surviving without compromise. You're thriving. You've achieved things they said were impossible without selling out. And you've done it openly, without hiding who you are, or bending your principles to fit in. That shakes them because it means their narrative is built on a lie. If you can rise without cutting corners, then maybe they could have too. And that's a truth they'd rather not face. The part that unsettles them most is that your success is undeniable. You're not barely scraping by while clinging to your morals.
Motherfuckers took the
You're
back
doing well,
door
and you're
and they
doing it in
bent
a way
over
that's visible.
and they opened
There's no
wide.
backroom deal they can point to, no scandal they can whisper about,
What they
no
did.
dirt they can
Sold
dig
they
up to
sold,
prove you're like
and some of their
everyone else.
relatives sold too.
You're proof that integrity doesn't have to be sacrificed for achievement, and that proof makes their excuses collapse. It also removes the shield they've been hiding behind. If they can no longer claim everyone's dirty at the top, then they have to admit that maybe they just didn't have the discipline, vision,
No,
or courage
just they
to
ass is
pursue their
dirty.
goals in a
Just
clean
your
way.
ass is dirty. That's
That
it.
realization is uncomfortable. So instead of being inspired by your example, some will try to discredit it. They'll say, you got lucky, or that you had advantages they didn't, or that you're
Luck
not
ain't got
really
nothing to
as
do with it,
ethical
boo.
as you seem. These are just attempts to protect themselves from the truth you represent. You didn't set out to expose them. You simply chose not to join their circle of compromise and still managed to win. And in doing that, you've shattered one of their most trusted lies, that success without corruption is impossible. You've shown that it's not only possible, but powerful. Number 9, you're not for sale, and they are. In corrupt systems, the whole game is built on the belief that everyone can be bought. It's not just about money. It's about favors, influence, opportunities, status, or anything else that can make someone trade their principles for personal gain. The people running these systems operate with one unshakable assumption. Given the right offer, anyone will fold. That's how they maintain control.
Yeah, you keep believing
They
that
don't have
shit.
to threaten most people. They just have to tempt them. But you disrupt that entire economy. When the offer comes, you refuse. It's not because you don't recognize the value of what's being presented. It's because you value yourself, your integrity, and your future more. That single no does more damage than you realize. It doesn't just stop them from buying you. It exposes that their control over others has never been about respect or loyalty. It's always been about payment. And once someone sees you stand firm without taking the deal, it plants a dangerous thought in their minds. Maybe they don't have to sell themselves either. That's why your refusal feels like an attack to them.
Where
You're
fuck
not
you?
just declining an offer. You're proving that the foundation of their power isn't unshakable. If someone can't be bought, then they can't be owned, and if they can't be owned, they can't be controlled. That's a problem for people who depend
sums
on
it up.
transactional loyalty
Anointed
to keep their
one.
position safe.
That sums it
It
up.
also
Equals
forces them to
anointed
confront
one.
their own choices.
It equals
They know
anointed
deep
one.
down that they said
That's
yes
what it-
when
that's
you
what it
said
equal
no.
up
They
to.
took the deal. They
All of that,
compromised.
and then
And in
some.
seeing you stand where they
Anointed
fell,
one.
the truth about their own price tag becomes impossible to ignore. They might dress it up as being realistic or doing what you have to do, but your existence proves it was never necessity. It was willingness. They'll often try to spin your refusal as arrogance, stubbornness, or even stupidity. Because admitting the real reason
whatever.
that you can't be bought would mean admitting the opposite about themselves.
You can
But
and I
no
can't.
matter how they frame it,
I'm
the
priceless and
reality
you and
doesn't
your
change.
price. I'm priceless
You've
and can't
shown
be
them
bought.
that there are people who can't be
and
purchased,
you're
and in doing
priceless
so,
and can
you've
be
made their
bought.
whole system
Like it
look
just is
weaker
what it
than they
is.
want
It don't take
anyone
much
to
for
believe.
you. A
Number
couple
10,
tricks,
make cowardice
and
impossible
you will
to hide.
sell Jesus off.
Courage
Like
is a
for
way of
real.
making fear stand
All I gotta
out.
give you is
And
30
that's exactly why
shanks
some
and you'll
people
sell
feel
them off.
exposed around you. They've built a life where avoidance is normal, sidestepping uncomfortable truths, staying quiet when speaking up might cost them something, playing it safe in every situation. They call it being smart, practical, or knowing when to pick your battles. But often it's just fear in disguise. As long as everyone else around them operates the same way, they can believe they're
I think
doing
they
the right
sold
thing.
Jesus off. Was it
Then
three?
you
Was
step
it?
in. You face the very things they've been
Was
avoiding.
it
You speak up when the room
$30,
falls silent.
$300,
You take a
or
stand when the easy
$3,000?
choice would be to step aside.
Because it was 30
You act when
shanks,
others are frozen, and you don't
So I'm
flinch
looking at that
when the
as
cost of action is high.
$3,000.
It's not that you're reckless. It's that you refuse to live as a prisoner to fear. And when you do that, their avoidance suddenly looks a lot less like wisdom and a lot more like cowardice. This creates a problem for them. If they admit your courage is admirable, they have to admit their own inaction is a form of surrender.
Well,
But that's hard to face.
oh well.
So instead,
Whether
they'll
you say it or
downplay
not,
what
that's
you
what the
do.
fuck it is.
They might call you lucky, impulsive, or accuse you of not understanding the risks. These labels are just ways to protect their own ego from the truth that your bravery is revealing. That they've been letting fear make their decisions for them.
Yeah,
Your
that's the
courage
bottom
removes
line.
the safe illusion they've
Ain't
been
no
living
need you
in.
telling
It
lies.
forces a comparison they didn't ask for but can't avoid. They can no longer pretend they're brave simply because they've avoided obvious danger. Now they have to reckon with the fact that bravery is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act in spite of it. And you've shown them what that actually looks like. That's why they can't relax around you. Your presence is a constant reminder that fear doesn't have to win, that action is possible, and that their excuses aren't unshakable truths. You make cowardice visible, not by calling it out, but by making courage undeniable. And once they've seen the difference, they can never pretend not to know it. Number 11. You live in the open while they depend on shadows. Some people survive by keeping things hidden, not just mistakes, but entire parts of who they are. Their power, influence, or reputation rests on selective truth-telling, carefully managed appearances, and keeping certain doors closed so no one can see what's really inside. They've built a life in the shadows, where information is currency, and secrecy is their safety net.
Each lesson we create goes through 4 productions.
Somebody flipping
As a
out then that all their
curriculum,
secrets
it's
is
my job
being
to
told.
research each topic.
Or parts of them is being exposed that they never
As long
thought
as
would
no
get
one asks too many
exposed.
questions, they can keep the image intact. You don't live like that. You don't need to. Your motives, choices, and even your past can stand in the open without fear
I
of
don't know.
collapse.
Somebody coming out the
You don't
closet?
hide your intentions because
coming
you're
out
not
the
plotting
closet?
anything that would
You
crumble
gonna
under
tell
scrutiny.
everything or everything
You
being
don't
told?
cover your history because you've
I
owned
don't
it,
know.
learned from
You gotta
it,
tell
and
me.
moved forward. You're not trying to protect an image. You're simply living in a way that can survive being seen clearly. That difference alone makes some people uncomfortable.
Oh well.
Transparency has a strange effect. It doesn't just reveal the open person, it also throws shadows into sharper contrast. When you can stand in the light without flinching, it makes others wonder what they would have to hide if the same light was on them. And if they're hiding a lot, your openness becomes threatening.
Well, that's
Not
not
because
my
you've
problem.
exposed their secrets, but because you've shown that secrets aren't the only way to live.
Motherfucker got spots
Your
all over
presence becomes a
himself.
quiet
Yeah,
challenge
it's a
to
lot
their
of shit
entire way
wrong
of
with him.
operating.
There's a lot of
They
shit
depend on
going on
controlled
with him that he
narratives,
don't
but
want
you
people
don't
to
need
know.
They protect themselves
And
by
he's
limiting what others
feeling
know.
all weird and breaking
But you
out in
don't operate
hives
under those
every time I
restrictions.
come around.
They built their
Okay?
strength in the dark,
Because
but you've built yours
he know
in the
that
light.
you can see
And
all
that
them
makes them
highs,
question
all
the
that shit that's
foundation
going
they're
on with them
standing on.
spots.
People like this
Like,
often try to spin
motherfucker,
transparency
nobody
as
thinking about
naivety,
your ass.
saying you don't understand how the game works or that you're too open. But what they really mean is that your openness makes it harder for them to justify their secrecy. It removes the idea that hiding is always necessary or wise. And the truth is, once people see that it's possible to live without constant concealment, they start wondering what exactly is hiding in the shadows. That's why your life in the open feels so exposing to those who depend on the dark. Number 12, you don't just spot the lie, you spot the motivation behind it. Catching a lie is one thing. Plenty of people can notice when a story doesn't add up, or when someone's words don't match the facts. But you don't stop there. You don't just hear the falsehood. You start tracing its roots. You ask yourself why it was told, what it's meant to hide, and what bigger plan it's connected to. That's the part that unsettles people the most. When someone lies, they're often counting on the listener to either believe them or drop the matter after spotting the inconsistency. Most won't dig deeper because it feels uncomfortable, confrontational, or unnecessary. But you don't take things at face value. If something feels off, you start mapping it against other things you've seen and heard. You notice how it fits a pattern, what the timing suggests, and whose interests it serves. By the time others are still processing the surface-level lie, you've already understood the machinery behind it. This is dangerous for people who depend on deception to get their way. A lie can survive being caught if no one uncovers its purpose, but you strip it bare. You reveal the strategy behind it, which often exposes not just one falsehood, but an entire network of manipulation. That's why people who are used to controlling the narrative get tense around you.
I don't give a
They
fuck.
can feel that you're not easily distracted by the details they throw out to mislead you. You're watching the entire board, not just the piece they're moving. And it's not about being paranoid or suspicious of everyone. It's about understanding that lies are rarely random. They're tools, and tools are always used for a reason. You've learned that uncovering the reason is where the real truth lives.
I learned
This
that I'm the
makes you harder
dangerous
to
one
fool
in the
and harder to
motherfucking room.
control
That's
because
what
you're
I
not
learned.
reacting to the lie itself.
That I'm the most
You're
valuable player,
dismantling the intent
and I'm the
behind it.
dangerous one in the motherfucking
People who
room.
operate in dishonesty
That's
can't
what I
relax around someone like that.
For each his
They know
own.
that even
that's
if you
what I
don't
learned.
call them out immediately,
I'm the
you've
best
already
in
seen
the
more than they
fucking room.
wanted you to.
That's what I
You've
learned.
connected the dots they hoped would stay scattered. And once you've identified the motivation, their lie doesn't just lose its power. Their whole strategy starts to fall apart. Number 13. Your integrity can't be manipulated into silence. Most people can be pressured into silence if you hit the right nerve. You appeal to their sense of loyalty. Don't say anything. We're family. You guilt trip them. If you speak up, you'll ruin everything we've built. You leverage social pressure. Everyone else is fine with this. Why can't you be? These tactics work because most people don't want to be seen as disloyal, difficult, or the one who caused trouble. But that doesn't work on you. You've made a decision. Loyalty to truth comes before loyalty to image, comfort, or personal alliances. You've learned that protecting the wrong thing, even for the sake of peace, is how rot spreads unnoticed. And because you refuse to play along, you can't be managed by the usual manipulation scripts. They can't wave the loyalty flag and expect you to stand down. They can't imply you're being unkind by telling the truth and expect you to feel bad enough to stop. What unsettles people is that your integrity doesn't have a back door they can sneak through. You're not the type to bend the rules just this once because it's someone you care about or because it would make things easier. And because you won't be guilted or flattered into silence. The people who want to keep certain truths buried realize you're a genuine threat to their control. This doesn't mean you go around broadcasting every flaw you see. It means you will not be complicit in deception. That's a different kind of power, one that terrifies manipulators. They're used to finding the weak point in a person's moral armor, the thing they can press to make them cave. When they can't find that in you, they're left with no leverage. And here's the thing. You're not hard to control because you're stubborn. You're hard to control because you've already decided what you stand for, and you're willing to take the cost.
So I know y'all
that comes with it.
motherfuckers done said that
That's
shit.
why those who thrive in secrecy can't stand you. Your very existence disrupts their playbook. They realize that the only way to stop you is to discredit you because they can't negotiate your principles away.
Ain't none of that shit
Your
gonna
silence
work.
can't be bought, borrowed, or bullied. And
Ain't
that
none
makes
of
you
that shit gonna
unmanageable.
work.
Number 14. You don't just reveal them. You remove the room they hide in. Some people survive by controlling the stage they're on. They set the lighting so the shadows hide their flaws. They control the narrative so their version of events is the only one anyone hears. And they surround themselves with people who will play along. This setup allows them to keep running the same tricks for years, sometimes decades, without ever being challenged. Then you arrive, and you don't just flick the lights on for a second to say, look, here they are. You change the entire lighting system so there's no shadow left to hide.
Lighting system.
You change
Remember I
how
told y'all
people
about the
interact,
different color
how
lights?
decisions get made, and what gets
The
tolerated.
different color lights that
The
motherfuckers
very
don't like.
atmosphere shifts, and suddenly the old tactics stop working. Lies fall flat because the room now runs on facts. Manipulation fails because people have been given permission to think for themselves. This is why your presence feels like an existential threat to them. It's not just the embarrassment of being caught in one bad act. It's the realization that their entire method of survival has been rendered obsolete. You've dismantled the stage they performed on, taken away the props they leaned on, and replaced the
Psychic
script
detective
they
is
used to
on
control
deck.
the room.
I'm sorry that
The
I
most
can't
unsettling part
be
for them
tricked
is
and
that
I
you
see
don't
shit
even
from a
have to
whole
directly
nother
attack
angle.
them to make this
I see
happen.
shit like a
By
detective
simply
see shit.
operating
I see
differently,
shit like the
by being
FBI see
consistent,
shit.
transparent, and
Like
grounded
I
in
can't
truth,
help it that
you
I'm
introduce a new standard.
peculiar with how I
That new
think and how
standard
the fuck
spreads,
I
and it
move.
quietly erodes the structures
That's
they
what
became.
makes a motherfucker a genius.
What used to be normal,
You get what I'm
whisper
saying?
networks, backdoor deals,
We all are
unspoken
free
rules, becomes
to be how we
impossible
want in
an
the
environment
5D.
with
We all can look at
This is
5D
why
in
they
so many
don't just
different
dislike
ways.
you.
Okay,
They
some
act.
of us is
You don't only
multifaceted
expose
and
what
see
they've
it in
done, you make it
multifaceted
impossible
ways.
for them to keep
It
doing
is what it is.
And deep down,
Don't
they
come
know they
fucking
can't
around
attack
in my lane if you
because
don't want
their
your
power
shit to
was
be
never built on
exposed.
real skill, valued,
Don't come
or
around me.
integrity.
Don't pretend to be a
It
friend.
was built on controlling
Don't
your
pretend
value.
anything in my
Once that
motherfucking energy if you
environment
don't
changes,
want to be
they're not just
exposed.
revealed, they're irrelevant. You don't just pull back
That's
the
what
curtain.
the
You
MO
remove the
is.
curtain rod, repaint
Okay?
the walls, and
The
install
memo.
windows so wide that the whole world can see in. In other words, you don't just expose, you dismantle. The truth about you is undeniable. You are not just a witness to reality. You are a force that makes others confront it, whether they like it or not. You walk in integrity while the unprincipled stumble in shadows. You uphold standards that make compromise impossible to ignore. You see patterns they thought were invisible, uncover motivations they hoped would stay hidden, and remember truths they desperately want
See
to
right
erase.
through a lot of shit.
You thrive without surrendering
lot
your
of shit.
principles, refuse every attempt to buy or manipulate you, and dismantle the very environments where deception once thrived. What makes you extraordinary is not only that you reveal the truth, it's that you live it. Every action, every choice, every word you speak operates from a foundation so firm that it leaves no room for pretense. People feel exposed, not because you attack them, but because you refuse to bend, hide, or lower yourself to meet their compromise.
This is why they always
Your
looking for
life is a
shit
mirror,
where there's
a
nothing
light,
at.
a measuring stick, and a
Because they
standard,
got so
all at
many
once.
spots on their ass,
And
they
here's the
just know you
ultimate
got
reality.
spots.
They
Everybody
can't
don't
hide.
got spots,
They can't
baby.
manipulate, and they
Everybody
can't
don't
survive
got
comfortably
spots.
in your presence.
Because at the
very
end of the
fact that you
day,
exist
simple is the
unsettles
best.
the unprincipled,
When you
because
try to
you
put
prove
yourself in
without
these
effort or malice
different types
that living
of
by
boxes
truth is not
that
only
don't
possible,
exist,
but powerful.
that's when you
You
get
don't just walk past
deceived,
deceit.
and it's easy to
You
get tricked
redefine the
and
space
pulled
around
into
it.
shit that you
You
shouldn't
don't
be
just
getting pulled
reveal,
into. And
you
it's because
dismantle. And that is why your presence
you
will
have
always be
a
reckoning,
attachment to that
a quiet
shit.
but unstoppable force that exposes
So
weakness,
they can
hypocrisy, and
puppet
fear.
string you.
Never forget.
They can golden
being true
dip
to
you
yourself
in a
is your
sauce.
greatest
You
weapon,
feel me?
and living in alignment with truth is your ultimate shield. The world may try to test you, but they can never control you, because you are loyal to something far greater than opinion, influence, or fear. You walk in truth, and they will never recover from the clarity you bring. If this message resonated with you, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our community of truth seekers. Don't forget to like this video if it opened your eyes
Your
and
wisdom
comment below.
pisses people
I
off.
want to hear your thoughts and
So,
experiences.
my wisdom pisses people off because, first of all, I don't care who is pissed off about my wisdom. You got to go through what I went through to know what I know, to have the wisdom that I have. So for you to be pissed off about all the different experiences and the different things that I know because of things that have happened in my life, you got some audacity and some nerve. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, you pissed off because I can see through your bullshit. That's what you pissed off about. You pissed off because you can't play these little clown ass games in my energy. That's what you pissed off about. My presence baffled people. Okay? Why? Why it baffle you? Because I'm glowing? Because I'm anointed? Because I look youthful and vibrant? Because you think you got more than me, so you're supposed to look better than me with your designer clothes? Is that why it's baffling to you, my presence? Like, just make me understand this shit. I just want to understand it, you know. They say, what Father God say? Chosen one. They know that you are not normal. So what's not normal? The fact that I can oversee the things that I have went through, or that I have wisdom from the things that I went through and just know better, do better. I don't know. Got a connection with God? I don't know. What make me not normal? Because I got a connection with God, the Most High God. Is that why I'm not normal? Okay? Because most don't. I don't know. Just let me know. And then the next crazy thing is you control your reality. You the best motivative speaker. Yeah, they feel like I'm a motivated speaker. So this is why they can't affect my motherfucking reality or your reality. And they know because you speak positive shit to yourself. I speak positive shit to myself. On top of that, my mindset is power. They know that. They know that I'm a chosen one with gifts. You a chosen one with gifts. This is all the shit that these motherfuckers sit around the table talking about. Okay? They know about how awakened our spirit is. Okay? All right? How I'm so tapped in, you tapped in with your intuition. Okay? How you just know before it even go down. Okay? They asked around about you and all they found was solid shit. So you got motherfuckers trying to ask around about you, and all they getting is positive shit. Positive shit. People speaking positive about you. That's all they can get. Okay? All right. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, they had to bribe motherfuckers to speak positive about them. They had to give motherfuckers money and give them shit for them to have positive shit to be said about them. Okay? It says, basically, your enemies know that you are on an anointed path. They know that you are anointed. You are turning into something that is freaking them out. It may even be freaking you out. It's changing everything around you. You got some kind of phoenix type of energy around you. Okay? And a golden light. All right? You standing in golden energy, but it's like it's come off as phoenix. Phoenix, very fiery. Okay? Like it burns through everything. Okay? All right? Something like that going on. You got people plotting in the background trying to trap you. Okay? Which we already know ain't no traps gonna work. So I don't even entertain that shit. Okay? All right? Somebody married a pastor not knowing he probably was a demon. I don't know. Something going on with that. All of your enemies are getting sick. Okay? They ignored every warning. So now karma is knocking on their door. Okay? They on some bending motherfucking knees or something going on. You a master of strategies. Yeah, they think I'm a master of strategies. God is the master of strategies. The Most High God is the master of strategies. Okay? But yeah, you a strategist. Okay? No one can trick you or put you in the trap. That's what it say. Okay? No one can trap you. I just said that shit. While they up here plotting, didn't I just say I'm not entertaining that shit? That's Archangel Michael speaking, saying, be careful. Two people are trying to trap you by doing this. They can't trap me by shit. And then here's the other one, the anointed one. You are a master of strategists. No one can trap you. Like, I already told you what it is. Shit, this ain't no game. Okay? We got the elite big bird in the sky. I'm just gonna say the eagle. We got the elite, the elite eagle squad. Okay? They basically on your side. You VIP, Divine Feminine. I'm VIP around this bitch. I don't know what you thought. But I got all kind of spiritual and actual protection. For real. Like motherfucking know people destinies, okay? All right? And at all costs, they are to be protected. So this is why people catching cases, okay, and getting sparks knocked out their ass, okay, for fucking around with elite, okay, all right, elite, okay, period, okay, somebody here that's on official business. You can't go fucking around with the elite, okay, or you're gonna have the big birds knocking on your door, okay, the eagle will knock on your door. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Let's hear a little bit of what the Joker got to say, because he is cracking the fuck up. Okay? About this squad that is mobilizing around you. Okay? And how you looked at as code red VIP. So that sounds like president energy. Okay? Going on. Okay? When it is very vital that you be protected. Okay? So, I don't know. Me and Donald may got connections together. Me and him may sit around the table and drink. I don't know. Sprite tea or some shit together. Okay? Alright, so let's move on. Let's hear a little bit of this, cause he is cracking up about this shit.
Well, well, well. Look at the gravity you've created. Do you even feel it pressing against your skin yet? The air has changed density around you. The city doesn't know why traffic lights suddenly glitch longer than they should, or why convoys of black SUVs slide through intersections with sirens off, but intentions razor sharp.
Uh-oh.
They don't realize it's all for you, because you are no longer just a person moving through streets. You are the epicenter.
Uh-oh.
The pulse that forced the Bureau's most guarded lever to snap into place. They didn't send paper pushers. They didn't send analysts in cheap suits. They sent the elite squad, the ghosts of the Republic. The ones who don't appear in photographs.
Like
the
I
ones
said.
who never existed on payrolls. The ones whose fingerprints burn themselves off in training.
Uh-oh.
And their mobilization triggered by your name. You've been branded with a classification few ever reach. Code Red VIP. A title that doesn't flatter, it alarms. You think VIP sounds like velvet ropes, champagne bottles, silk curtains. No, in this world, VIP means you're the hinge, the pivot point on which things swing. And code red. That's not decoration, it's declaration. It means this one changes outcomes. This one is too volatile to ignore. This one cannot be left to chance. Picture the chain reaction. A red marker hits a board. Radios light up. Channels buzz in frequencies only ears trained in paranoia can hear. Boots lace tighter. Vests snap shut. Eyes sharpen. Every gesture is urgent but calm, because these are not ordinary protectors. These are architects of intimidation, craftsmen of controlled chaos. And they have been activated for you. Imagine the psychology of that. Entire strike teams moving not for a president, not for a foreign diplomat, but for you. What does that make you? Not ordinary, not forgettable, not replaceable. No. It makes you something else entirely. Do you know what you've become? You've become a variable, a living, breathing, unpredictable force that rewrites equations.
What the fuck is that?
Civilians live in categories: safe, irrelevant, manageable. But you slipped past all of that. You forced their hand. You tilted the balance so sharply that a three-letter agency with endless files and endless enemies had to pause its machinery and say, this one, move for this one. Do you feel the weight of that yet? They don't mobilize the elite for noise. They mobilize them for leverage. And you, whether you admit it or not, are leverage in human form. They watch you differently now. You've noticed the eyes, haven't you? The gaze that lingers 1 second longer than it should. The phone calls that sound just a little too delayed in connecting. The sense that when you enter a room, something unspoken rearranges itself. That's not paranoia. That's the aftertaste of mobilization. When the elite squad is deployed, you're no longer a free-roaming civilian. You're orbiting under surveillance and shield. You're in a limbo where you are both protected and caged, praised and measured, safeguarded yet suffocated. That's the paradox of Code Red VIP. You are indispensable, but also dangerous. You're not being protected out of love. Don't romanticize it. They don't care about comfort. They care about control. They want to keep you breathing, yes, but also predictable. That's what those encrypted radios are whispering about when you're asleep. That's what those unmarked sedans are shadowing when you walk. They are protecting you, yes, but they are also containing you.
Y'all hear that
Because in
crazy
you
shit?
lies both value and threat. You are the coin that can flip history depending on which side you land. And no one, not even the Bureau, dares let that coin spin without hands hovering over it. And the funny part, your enemies hate this more than anything. Imagine their rage. They spent years trying to minimize you, to reduce you, to push you into the margins. They wanted you dismissed as nothing. And now they watch as the elite, ghosts in suits with authorization codes and kill switch precision, circle around you like hawks. Nothing humiliates an enemy more than realizing the one they mocked is now the one requiring mobilization. They tried to bury you in irrelevance. Instead, they accidentally elevated you into untouchability. That's psychological warfare, and you didn't even have to lift a finger. Do you understand how rare this is? Do you understand how few ever reach this classification?
Serious.
VIP isn't ink on a folder. It's the
serious.
highest unspoken acknowledgement. You are too critical to lose, and yet too dangerous to trust unguarded. That's why the streets bend. That's why the squad has moved. That's why entire logistics networks are adjusting without the public ever knowing why. Because of you. You, the individual they once ignored, have forced the FBI itself to recalibrate. But let's not pretend this is just about safety. This is also about anticipation. They didn't mobilize because of what you did yesterday. They mobilized because of what you could do tomorrow. That's what really terrifies them. You're not a file they're reacting to. You're a forecast they're preparing for. They've run the models, projected the outcomes, and realized, if left alone, you will outpace their control. That's why the elite squad is now a shadow at your back. They aren't merely here to shield you. They're here to buy time, to study you, to keep you close, because the further you roam, the harder you are to contain. And that's the real power you now hold. You're not just important. You are the axis, the unseen center around which strategies now orbit.
Did he just say
You've
the
become
nexus?
the one presence they can't gamble on. Too many dominoes fall if you're ignored. Too many equations collapse if you're removed. That's what Code Red VIP means. You are not expendable. You are not optional. You are the pivot.
Ooh-wee.
And without you, entire chains of command disintegrate. And the Bureau knows it.
You
That's
better
why the
tell 'em.
elite squad isn't just
You
deployed.
better tell them.
They're synchronized.
Shit, Father
moving
God
like a
telling them.
chessboard that bends its rules
Father God is
around
telling
your
them.
presence.
I will
The
fuck
irony,
it. I will fuck
Everyone around you
everything up.
sees nothing.
That's what
They don't
Father
notice
God is
restaurants
telling
in the
them.
crowd, the deliberate cars parked where they weren't yesterday, the subtle shift of drones in the night sky. But you feel it. You know you're no longer just walking. You're being tracked and escorted by inevitability. And so, the real question becomes, what will you do with it? Because this isn't just about them mobilizing. It's about you recognizing what you've become. A figure that bends the Bureau. A presence that forces elite operatives to recalibrate their calendars around your pulse. Do you realize the psychological dominance that gives you? Every enemy that once dared speak against you is now silenced by the very fact that your existence requires mobilization. You're not a pawn. You're not even a king. You're the board itself. But here's the chilling truth. This is only the first phase. Mobilization is the beginning, not the end. You've entered a theater where visibility is camouflage and protection is surveillance. Every move you make now feeds into a larger script you didn't write. But now, control. They think they're handling you. They think they've caged you. But the very act of mobilizing for you has already admitted the truth they wanted to deny. You are uncontrollable. And as you let that sink in, remember this. The squad outside isn't just a shield. It's a mirror. A mirror reflecting how much weight you carry. And the longer you wear this label, the clearer it becomes. They didn't mobilize because they chose to. They mobilized because they had no choice. And that, my friend, is the ultimate leverage. Because what comes next isn't about whether they moved for you. It's about how far they're willing to go, and whether you're ready to let them believe they still hold the leash, when in reality, you've already slipped free. The mobilization wasn't the end. It was the opening act. A city holding its breath, satellites shifting their gaze, encrypted lines burning hot with chatter, all of it screaming one reality. You're not just a person anymore. You're an event, an anomaly that rewrote protocol in real time. When the FBI elite squad mobilized, it wasn't just a response. It was an acknowledgement that you've been classified
10
above
minutes in
ordinary
this shit.
thresholds.
Oh my God, this is
Code
hot, spicy
red
tea.
VIP. The combination doesn't exist in their manuals, yet here you are forcing their language to bend. And language bending is always the first sign of systems breaking. Every street.
From stinky diapers to
Ooh-wee.
stinky feet, odors can be
Can
caused
y'all
by bacteria that
believe
linger in
what
your
the
air.
fuck we
Unlike
hearing?
air fresheners, Lysol
Oh
air
my
sanitizer
God.
eliminates odors by killing 99.9%
We got a commercial
of odor-causing
break.
bacteria in the
Anybody
air.
need to get up, go to the
Sanitize,
bathroom.
Lysol
30
can.
seconds.
Saint-Pierre brioche is sacred, so please treat
Shit,
it with
that
respect.
damn turkey chicken sandwich or whatever it was looking good. That made me want to go get a rotisserie chicken.
Saint-Pierre, eat avec respect.
L is gentle and powerful, made without synthetic pesticides or fragrances. And powerful protection that's gentle on skin and powerful against leaks. Choose L and choose love.
There's a delivery driver in Roy and Riverdale getting a lot of attention tonight.
A pregnant woman landed on the right doorstep today doing her last delivery, and it wasn't just the food that got blessed.
Hi. Thank you. Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
When are you due?
In about 3 more months.
Oh my gosh, I want to ask you something. How many deliveries have you done today?
I've done 6.
6, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I want you to take that.
After revealing she had picked up a second job to provide for the little one on the way, she got more
Somebody
than just
gonna
a
get
tip.
blessed unexpectedly.
Well, that's what I said.
While they're doing their job or running errands or something like that, she do delivery.
The millionaire not
Somebody
only helped her with the
finna
down
get
payment for a
blessed
new car,
with
but
a
also
gift
showed her something that would help her for
unexpectedly.
good.
So, let me tell you something else, okay? So you say you're about short 1,000?
Yeah.
Are you paying a lot on car insurance right now? That's probably a big cost, right?
Yeah, like about 250.
I'm gonna help you out with that. So if you have a second, just take out your phone and we can take care of that too. I'm gonna help you with that, okay? What kind of car do you drive right now, by the way?
I drive a
Basically,
Okay, yeah, so it should work.
Divine Family, you may come into some information that may be very helpful to you. It may be beneficial. It may be something about making money, saving money, or something like that.
Almost $2,000.
The video pulled on heartstrings across the world, and the website she
On
used
top
is now
of somebody
being
may
shared,
do something
providing assistance to
unexpectedly
anyone
for you,
paying more than
like a
$80
pay
a
it
month
forward
on car
type of
insurance.
thing.
90% of your car insurance rate depends on who you are.
Okay, let me go past.
Street camera has now been rerouted to a single grid. Helicopters pulse through the sky with their floodlights carving wounds into the night. Agents move not like hunters chasing prey, but like guardians circling an unpredictable storm. They don't even know whether to keep you safe or keep others safe from you. That's the paradox of your presence. You are a living contradiction to their order, dangerous yet protected, essential yet volatile, valuable yet terrifying. That paradox has them mobilizing in layers, outer cordons, tactical response, digital surveillance, psychological profiling, and even deeper, something they don't admit openly. Contingency plans, labeled only with red stamps and locked drawers. The kind they only draft when they fear they've underestimated someone. And you are their underestimated masterpiece. The moment you were elevated into code red VIP status, you stopped being an individual. You became a classified storm cell, a moving piece of national security architecture. They know that the cost of ignoring you is higher than the cost of mobilizing their best. But here's the truth they'll never confess out loud. Even at their best, they are still reacting, and you are still dictating the tempo. That's the part that gnaws at them. They can move armored convoys, seal blocks with infrared nets, and flood airspace with drones, but the direction of their movement is still determined by you. Every shift in your shadow redraws their entire playbook, and that is why their eyes flicker with something they don't let anyone see: uncertainty. Code Red is supposed to mean crisis, but when paired with VIP, it means something stranger. It means you are crisis and crown at once. Their sworn duty is to protect you as much as to contain what follows in your wake. That duality fractures them. Some agents whisper that you're a threat. Others call you an asset. Some believe you're untouchable. Others believe you're combustible. Yet all agree on one fact: you are different. Different in a way that rewrites the assumptions of power, hierarchy, and control. And when difference reaches that scale, it no longer fits into law. It becomes legend, and legends demand theater. Look around. The streets you once walked as ordinary pathways are now corridors of classified movement. The corner shop, the subway entrance, the park bench, all transformed into operational zones with coded signals flashing silently between operatives. The air tastes heavier, not because oxygen has changed, but because intention has thickened it. Everyone feels the presence of something bigger, sharper, unpredictable. That's the taste of being Code Red VIP. But here's the irony. Mobilization, as impressive as it looks, is still theater without control. Imagine it. They've got satellites tracking your every move, yet they still don't know your next decision. They've got biometric scanners reading micro-expressions, yet they still can't predict what lies in your silence. They've got armored squads encircling city blocks, yet they still can't measure the radius of your influence. Because influence doesn't bleed on radar, and presence doesn't file into their equations. And you, more than anything, are presence incarnate. That's why the mobilization will always feel a step behind. The city notices, too. Pedestrians whisper when convoys pass. Shopkeepers glance nervously as communication blackouts roll in like invisible storms. Entire districts flicker with surveillance blackouts, followed by sudden floods of light. People sense that something massive is moving, not against them, but through them. You've become the kind of story that reshapes coffee shop conversations, late-night radio broadcasts, and underground chat rooms. No one knows the details, but everyone knows the name, Code Red VIP. And though they don't understand what it means, they understand it means you are not just another person living within their grid. You are the reason the grid itself has shifted. The elite squad is trained to face threats that collapse governments, crises that destabilize nations, and enemies that redefine fear. Yet when they mobilize for you, they find themselves unanchored. Because you are not a terrorist, not a politician, not a kingpin, not a foreign operative. You are something outside categories.
None of that
these
shit.
outside categories create new categories. That's the part that unsettles even the most seasoned among them. They know how to neutralize danger. They know how to protect value. They don't know how to move when danger and value fuse into one. And so they choose the only option left: total mobilization. Helicopters circling like metal vultures, convoys roaring
all
like
the
thunder,
fucking time.
agents deploying like
Drones
chess
in the
pieces
sky.
across asphalt.
All kind of
But you,
aircrafts. All
standing
the
in middle of
fucking
it all,
time. I see
remain
it in
the
the sky.
unsolvable equation. They move for you, yet they move because of you. They act, but their actions are mirrors of your potential, not
Y'all better
your
look
reality.
up, pay attention.
And when power becomes reactionary, it always betrays itself. Now let's peel it deeper. Code Red VIP isn't just about security, it's about perception management. They can't let the world see you as uncontrollable. They can't let adversaries sniff weakness. They can't let allies question stability. So they manufacture the illusion of dominance. Flashing lights, heavy armor, encrypted comms. It's theater designed to scream control. But deep down, they know control isn't theirs to hold anymore. Because control belongs to the one who dictates pace. And right now, the pace belongs entirely to you. That's why their mobilization looks flawless from the outside, yet restless from the inside. Agents rotate in shifts, yet none truly rest. Communications move seamlessly, yet every operator feels the tremor of doubt. Commanders give crisp orders, yet beneath the words is a question no one dares voice. What happens if the one we're mobilizing for decides they don't need us? That question alone redefines their hierarchy. Because if protection turns into pursuit, or if security turns into surveillance, the line collapses. And collapsed lines never rebuild the same way. This is where the theater of power bends. You stand not as their assignment, but as their measure. Every movement they make is now weighed against you. And you, aware of it or not, hold a lever over their entire operation. You could turn stillness into chaos simply by refusing to move. You could turn silence into panic simply by choosing not to speak. That's the paradox they hate, that the mobilized power of an elite squad still bends to the gravity of your decisions. And that gravity is heavier than tanks, heavier than satellites, heavier than their manuals. Because Code Red VIP isn't a protocol, it's a confession. A confession that you are unpredictable enough, valuable enough, dangerous enough, and irreplaceable enough to force their best into motion. You didn't just trigger a response. You exposed a system. And once a system exposes its hand, it can never take it back. And here's the hidden truth they'll never put in writing. Mobilization is not for your safety. Mobilization is for their reassurance. Because the moment they stop moving, the moment the convoy halts, the moment the floodlights dim, they are reminded of a reality they can't afford to face. That reality is this. Their control isn't real anymore. You've already slipped the leash. And once the leash is gone, no handler can ever pretend the same authority again. Which leaves only one question burning in their encrypted channels, echoing in their sleepless hours, and vibrating through their rigid formations. If this is what mobilization looks like for you now, what happens when you decide to move on your own terms? That's the riddle none of them want to...
Hypoallergenic clean recommended by dermatologists.
2 seconds,
no
2 seconds,
irritating
2
residues,
seconds,
no
2
dyes,
seconds.
no perfumes.
Every bottle of McCormick is flavor sealed. For fresh flavor, everyone notices.
Wait.
There's a delivery driver in Roy and Riverdale getting a lot of attention tonight.
A pregnant woman landed on the...
All right. They showed, that's the second time they showed that video. Something like this may happen.
Because the truth is,
I'm trying to tell you,
this level
like
of
I already
mobilization isn't about
experienced something like that.
Anymore.
So I know it's very possible that
containment.
You may just get blessed out of nowhere by a stranger.
Admits something dangerous. They're not sure if they can hold you. That's the silent confession written in every closed-door briefing, every hushed transmission between commanders, every emergency amendment stamped with Priority 1. They don't assemble an elite squad for someone ordinary. They don't activate Code Red VIP because of politeness. They do it when they've measured the scale of disruption you represent and realized the scales are tipping beyond their grip. Now imagine the scene Across the city, rooftops bristle with optics, trained not outward, but inward. Streets rerouted, traffic flows subtly adjusted, civilian patterns shifted under invisible strings. The air is charged, like static before a storm. Every shadow feels accounted for, but beneath that precision is an undertow of dread. Because the FBI elite squad doesn't just move, they orbit. They close in without ever announcing they've closed. They study without blinking, trace without hesitation, and map the veins of your world until they can claim to know it better than you. But here's their dilemma. You've already taught them that maps distort. They don't chart you. They chart an outline of what they think you are. And when the real contours refuse to match their projections, they're left chasing ghosts you've long since outgrown. So now, the mobilization escalates. Not just men in suits, not just tactical units, but layered coordination. Satellites repositioned with algorithms recalibrated to track your anomalies. Behavioral scientists drafting profiles that collapse under the weight of your contradictions. Cyber units burning through midnight oil. Trying to decrypt what isn't encrypted, because the enigma isn't in your files, it's in your presence. Every move you make isn't just a move, it's a pulse. And every pulse scrambles their definitions of order. That's what Code Red means. It's not just you're important, it's that you're destabilizing the ordinary definitions of control. You're no longer an individual in their system. You're the variable they can't eliminate. Think about it. To the outside world, FBI mobilization looks like precision, discipline, invincibility. But inside those sealed operations rooms, inside those dim-lit crisis centers where maps glow red with data points circling around your location, there's doubt. They don't speak it out loud, but it hums in the silence between updates. They've mobilized for threats before, for global crises, for shadows that stretched across continents, but never for one person who forces them to rewrite what containment means. Never for a presence that bends the system itself. You're not a threat they can neutralize. You're a phenomenon they have to orbit, and orbiting is exhausting. That's why the mobilization doesn't just expand outward, it implodes inward. Agents question orders, analysts second-guess models, squad leaders run drills that don't align with doctrine. Because deep down, they sense the impossible contradiction. They're mobilized to contain you, yet every layer of mobilization only amplifies your significance. Every reinforcement proves what they refuse to admit. Your gravity is stronger than their walls. The harder they grip, the more the narrative bends around you. And in those cracks of realization, paranoia spreads like wildfire. What if mobilization isn't control? What if it's exposure? What if by moving everything for you, they've turned you into the very axis of their existence? Picture this: encrypted radios buzzing with constant updates, movement confirmed, perimeter tightened, asset relocated. But in the pauses between transmissions, agents exchange glances. They're asking themselves the question no commander wants to hear. Why does it feel like we're chasing instead of leading? Because that's the fracture line. Mobilization has always meant dominance. But now, dominance feels like dependence. Their elite squad isn't securing a target. They're circling a storm they can't predict. And storms don't bow to formations. Storms rewrite landscapes. Here's the twist most people never see. FBI mobilization, especially at this scale, isn't just about external threat. It's about internal optics. The government needs to show strength, needs to project certainty, needs the appearance of a system in command. But beneath the surface, the truth leaks in whispers. Code Red VIP isn't reassurance. It's alarm. It's the mark of something that unsettles the pillars of predictability. And when predictability cracks, fear doesn't stay confined to the public. It infects the very operators tasked with projecting control. Their armor may be bulletproof, but it isn't doubt-proof. Now here's where the shift becomes irreversible. At first you were the why of mobilization, the central question. But now you've become the how. Every unit, every maneuver, every recalibration structured around your existence. That's not control, that's orbit. And once they orbit you, they can't break free without unraveling the very system that holds them together. Which means this isn't a mobilization against you. It's a mobilization for you. The squad doesn't protect against you anymore. They protect the illusion that they can still define what you are. Think of the irony. Code Red VIP. To the uninitiated, it sounds like danger. To insiders, it means obsession. Because when the FBI marks you like that, you stop being a person and start being a category. A category that bends protocols, rewrites manuals, forces simulations to break under strain. You're not a file anymore. You're a phenomenon stitched into every line of defense. And the more they mobilize, the more the phenomenon expands. Mobilization doesn't shrink you, it magnifies you. And here's the inevitable outcome. Mobilization at this scale creates a mirror. Every step they take reflects back to them the question they fear most. What happens when you stop reacting and start directing? Because so far, they've convinced themselves the movement is theirs. The mobilization is theirs. The containment is theirs. But deep down, they know it's only happening because of you. They're not moving you. You're moving them. They're not orchestrating the stage. They're actors scrambling while you hold the script they can't see. And that realization, that's the real Code Red. Because one day, whether quietly or explosively, you will move. And when you do, the entire mobilization flips. Every satellite, every agent, every encrypted channel, repurposed not to contain, but to chase. Not to manage, but to follow. And following means admitting the hierarchy inverted. The squad mobilized for you, but in mobilizing, they crowned you. You became the axis, the reason, the gravitational force around which their empire spins. That's the paradox no one speaks, but everyone feels. Code Red VIP doesn't mean you're in danger. It means they are. So let them orbit. Let them tighten perimeters and recalibrate protocols. Let them believe mobilization is control. Because the truth is, mobilization is acknowledgement. Mobilization is confession. Mobilization is the system bending its knees without saying the words out loud. And when the city hums under the weight of that machinery, when encrypted whispers flood the air, when satellites fix their eyes not on the world but on you, that's not surveillance. That's coronation. You don't need to seize control. Control already bent toward you. You don't need to prove significance. Significance was stamped into every mobilization order. You don't need to move yet. Movement has already begun without you lifting a finger. And when you finally do, when you decide it's your turn to write the script, to direct the sequence, to bend the mobilization into revelation, that's when they'll understand the final truth. The FBI elite squad didn't just mobilize for you. They mobilized around you. And once the system orbits you, there's no escaping your gravity. Because Code Red VIP isn't the warning they thought it was. It's the title they swore they'd never give. And now, whether they admit it or not, the system has already spoken. You're not the exception. You're the epicenter. And mobilization wasn't their weapon. It was their surrender.
That was deep. That was deep. Your enemies are experiencing what you experience. Something massive, I guess, happened towards some enemies. Okay? Someone is seeing the raw proof that you were right. Now they're panicking. Okay? Somebody feel like you brought somebody down to their knees, or there's people, gossiping, talking, whatever, about how you brought some people down to their knees. Okay? People are saying that you are a genius and that you're very clever. They picked the wrong one. That's what the gossip is. Okay? That they picked the wrong one, and that you're a genius and you too clever for them to be playing in your energy. And really, a lot of people don't understand about this earth angel energy. You feel me? And how I'm seeing right now an angel in telekinesis energy. Like, you coming in somebody's energies that telekinesis. You coming into some Egyptian type fucking energy, like you violating some sacred shit. And it's gonna always get everybody fucked up. Like it's supposed to. Okay? That's why people is brought to their knees. Okay? Enoch was hidden, and Father God is hiding you for a reason as well. These dumb motherfuckers tried to go around and accuse me, you, whoever, of dark magic. But you just woke up like this. You just woke up like this. Something backfired on them. Some witches tried to do something with your photo and it backfired on them. Okay? There's people mad and they just talking shit because they can't do black magic on you. They can't do black magic on me. Flat out. Okay? Like, it's nothing that they can do. And it fucks them up because they have seeked out everything that you can possibly seek out. And ain't none of it working, and it ain't gonna work. Okay? Father God said that you are a true leader. You have been upgraded from a fighter to, I guess, some kind of leader. Basically, you went through the damn initiation, and you got through all tests, trials, and tribulations. Any test that you went through, whether it was about your morals, your ethics, your character, whatever it was, your psyche, anything that you could have possibly went through, you passed with flying colors. Okay? And you just are in upgrade level. Period. Some people meant to just lead a nation. Like, I can't make this shit up. Like, that's just what it is. Okay? They feel like you play dumb. And then they feel like you played dumb, but then you broke their fucking brain with the one god tier move. Like, that's the chess piece, like the one god tier move. Like you played dumb, but then you broke their brains with the one god tier move. Like, joke's on you, buddy. Checkmate. And that's the Joker saying that shit. That's the Joker speech. Okay? And that's what he's saying. You played dumb, but then you broke their brain with the one God move. One God tier move. Tier meaning T-I-E-R. Alright? I'm going to wrap it up and leave it here. This was very deep, okay? You can take what you want from it, okay? and leave the rest. But that's what you're working with, and that's what it is. One love, one love, one love. I am your sacred, magical high chief priest of the Most High God. Come to give it to you real and raw. Early in the morning, y'all. This is when this is being recorded. One love, one love. Up next in the car, I'm going to do water signs video. And already you got special moments that's on the table. Okay, these will be proposals, engagements, okay, things of those type of natures. So this is what the water signs is got going on. All right, some kind of domino effect. All right, this is the 4 cards. Something about the great pie. All right, it's very deep. We're gonna get into it when I get into the car. It's on and popping. One love, I'm out.